Beneath the beauty lies a history soaked in unhealed wounds. Laos might seem like a chill and beautiful place, but there's a darker side that often gets overlooked. From hidden gender-based violence to the haunting legacy of explosions from past conflicts. Plus, the effects of the secret war still linger, making it a country with a lot of untold stories. Let's dive into the top 10 dark sides of Laos that they don't want you to find out. 10. America's secret war in Laos. In the land of a million bombs, silence speaks the loudest. Laos holds a grim title, the most bombed country in history due to America's secret war during the Vietnam conflict. While many know about the war between the US and Vietnam, few are aware of the immense destruction Laos endured. Between 1964 and 1973, the US dropped over 2 million tons of explosives on Laos, intending to disrupt the Ho Chi Minh Trail and support the Royal Lao government. Entire villages were decimated, and countless Laotian civilians were either killed or displaced, many fleeing as refugees to other countries, especially the US. A haunting legacy of this war is the millions of unexploded ordnances, UXOs, scattered across Laos. These hidden dangers continue to kill and injure civilians decades later, particularly children who stumble upon them in fields and villages. The scale of the issue is staggering. Less than 10% of the land contaminated by UXOs has been cleared. Laos, despite its beauty, remains a country where the land itself can be a lethal hazard, a reminder of a war that most of the world has forgotten. 9. Unmarried. Avoid alone time with her. In a world where love's touch is bound by vows, the heart learns to dance in the silence of respect. Laos has strict conservative customs when it comes to relationships and marriage. One of the most important rules in the country is that a man and a woman cannot be alone together unless they are married. This applies to both locals and foreigners. Physical relations between unmarried individuals are illegal, and hotels frequently check documents to ensure couples are married before they can stay together. If caught, offenders are subject to significant fines. For foreigners seeking romance with Lao women, the process is even more complicated. The Lao government has stringent laws in place to prevent love scams, where women are lured into fake marriages and taken out of the country for illicit purposes. Foreigners must reside in Laos for at least 6 consecutive months and pass a detailed background check before being permitted to marry a Lao national. This, combined with conservative values around public displays of affection and dating, makes the country a challenging place for cross-cultural relationships. 8. Why girls in Laos marry before they even dream. Innocence traded for a promise too soon, where youthful dreams wither beneath a wedding moon. Child marriage is a troubling issue in Laos, with around 35% of girls marrying before the age of 18 and nearly 10% before they turn 15. The legal age for marriage in the country is just 15, and in many rural areas, girls are considered ready for marriage by the time they are 14. This tradition is largely driven by poverty. Families, particularly in rural regions, marry off their daughters at a young age to reduce their financial burden, as boys are the ones who inherit family property. Marriage, then, becomes a means of survival for these girls, but it also cuts off their educational opportunities and locks them into roles of domestic labor. In Laos, forced marriage practices, such as those seen in Chu Ni and Chu Zoje within the Hmong community, are reflected in certain Laotian traditions where forced or arranged marriages occur, often rooted in rural customs. One such practice is bride kidnapping, where a woman is forced to marry a man, either with or without her family's consent. In some cases, the family receives compensation, such as a dowry from the groom's side. In recent years, the government has committed to ending child marriage and raising the legal age to 18, in line with international conventions. However, the change is slow, and many young girls continue to be married off early, with little say in their future. 7. Tourism and the dark side of tubing in Vang Vieng. Vang Vieng, a town surrounded by lush jungles and rivers, has become infamous for its tubing adventures along the Nam Song River. What started as a local tradition of floating down the river on tractor-tire inner tubes became an international sensation. Soon, the riverbanks were lined with bars, offering alcohol, drugs, and dangerous thrills like water slides and rope swings. The combination of young tourists, intoxication, and risky activities led to tragic accidents, with dozens of tourists losing their lives or suffering severe injuries each year. The situation became so dangerous that the Laotian government temporarily banned tubing, but it was later reinstated under stricter regulations. The bars are now more controlled, with limits on alcohol and party activities, making the tubing experience safer for visitors. However, Vang Vieng's past as a party destination lingers, and locals often refer to the river as cursed due to the many lives it has claimed. 6. The mysterious Plains of Jars. One of the most enigmatic archaeological sites in Laos is the Plains of Jars, located in Chiang Kuang province. Scattered across the landscape are thousands of massive stone jars, some as tall as 3 meters and weighing several tons. These ancient relics date back more than 2,000 years, but their purpose remains a mystery. Some researchers believe the jars were used in burial rituals for travelers or for fermenting rice wine. Local legends suggest they were crafted by giants to store food and drink. Despite its historical significance, the Plains of Jars was heavily bombed during the Secret War, and the area is still littered with UXOs, making it dangerous for visitors and archaeologists alike. Efforts are ongoing to clear the land, but like much of Laos, this fascinating cultural site is haunted by the remnants of a violent past. 5. Dark reality of women's struggles in Laos. Voices whisper of oppression where freedom wears a heavy chain. In Laos, violence against women remains a serious issue, largely driven by traditional beliefs and gender roles. Many women face domestic abuse, with around 30% of women aged 15, 49 experiencing physical or violence. Cultural expectations often pressure women to remain silent, especially in marriages where submission is expected, and many victims lack access to proper legal help. Support services do exist, but they are limited, particularly in rural areas. Child marriage is another significant problem, leaving young girls even more vulnerable to abuse and exploitation. Overall, despite some efforts to address these issues, progress is slow due to deep-rooted societal norms and limited resources. While there are laws meant to protect women, the problem is that they're not enforced very well. Women often struggle to get legal help when they need it. This makes it easier for the cycle of violence to keep going, as many don't feel safe reporting what happens. 4. Respecting tradition. The no-hug, no-kiss policy in Laos. In Laos, which is mainly a Buddhist country, showing affection in public is a big no-no. Basically, things like kissing or hugging are frowned upon, and you won't see couples being all lovey-dovey in public. They keep it low-key because it's all about respect and keeping the peace in society. For example, holding hands is usually the most you can get away with, but anything more than that can be seen as disrespectful. This cultural vibe is super important to the locals, so if you're visiting, it's best to stick to the local customs and not draw too much attention to yourself by showing PDA. On top of that, in Laos, people really value modesty when it comes to dressing up. So you won't see a lot of revealing outfits. Girls usually wear long skirts called sin, paired with blouses that have sleeves, while guys stick to long pants and shirts. This isn't just a fashion choice. It's about showing respect for local customs and beliefs, especially because most people in Laos are Buddhist. If you're visiting, it's super important to dress modestly too. Wearing revealing clothes can be seen as disrespectful, especially in temples or more traditional areas. Basically, keeping it classy and covered is the way to go if you want to fit in and show respect. 3. Substance abuse and its impact on Laos. Laos, along with Thailand and Myanmar, forms part of what is known as the Golden Triangle, a region infamous for making opium. While Laos has made significant efforts to combat the illicit drug trade, the country was once a major player in the global opium market. In the past, opium poppy cultivation was widespread, particularly among ethnic minority groups in the northern highlands, where the crop was often grown as a primary source of income. The opium trade had far-reaching effects on the country, contributing to addiction, corruption, and lawlessness in some regions. Although the government has cracked down on making more, replacing it with alternative crops, remnants of the trade still exist. It continues in remote areas where law enforcement is weak, and Laos remains a transit route for substance trafficking between Southeast Asia and other parts of the world. The government has been working with international organizations to address the issue and provide alternative livelihoods for former poppy farmers, but the legacy of the substance lingers in the country's history and economy. 2. Diversity and drinking. Laos is home to a rich tapestry of ethnic groups, with over 160 distinct groups recognized throughout the country. The Lao Luang, or lowland Lao, make up the majority of the population and primarily inhabit the river valleys and plains. However, the mountainous regions of Laos are home to numerous ethnic minorities, each with its own language, customs, and traditions. Some of the largest ethnic groups include the Hmong, Khmu, and Thai Dam. Both minorities and tourists do drink in Laos, but the drinking culture can vary significantly based on local customs, traditions, and individual attitudes towards alcohol consumption. In Laos, drinking is a big deal, but it comes with some important rules that are all about bonding and respect. Here's the lowdown on how it works. The host drinks first. When you're at a gathering, the host usually takes the first drink. This is a sign of respect and shows they're welcoming everyone to join in. It sets the vibe for the whole group, making it feel more like a family gathering than just a party. Bonding over drinks. Drinking in Laos isn't just about getting buzzed. It's a way to bond with friends and family. People take their time, share stories, and enjoy each other's company. It's all about building relationships, so don't rush through it. Pass the bottle, don't hog it. One of the big rules is that you can't hog the bottle. When it's your turn, you take a sip and then pass it to the left, clockwise, to the next person. This way, everyone gets a chance to drink, and it keeps the party flowing smoothly. Beyond touch. Understanding the boundaries of monks in Laos. In robes of silence, they tread the path of peace. Life as a monk in Laos is super strict and different from what most people experience. Monks have to shave their heads and follow a celibate lifestyle, meaning they can't touch women or even things that women have touched. It's all about maintaining purity and respect. This creates a significant barrier between monks and women, which is part of a broader cultural belief in keeping spiritual practices separate from everyday life. For guys, becoming a monk is often seen as a way to earn merit and find a path to enlightenment, while women are generally not allowed to be monks. The whole lifestyle is focused on meditation, community service, and living simply, with a strong emphasis on respect for traditions and rules. So, if you're in Laos and getting ready to drink, remember to respect these customs. They really help create a friendly and connected atmosphere. All right, we've peeled back the layers on some serious issues. So next time you think of Laos, remember it's not just the stunning landscapes and rich culture. It's also a land filled with stories that deserve to be told. Let's keep the conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you found this eye-opening, and don't forget to subscribe for more adventure tales on the world's hidden realities. Stay curious and see you soon with more tales from every corner, where adventure meets culture.